Tonight, after a series of U.S. military strikes on alleged drug boats headed for the U.S., President Trump saying he may now go after cartels on land, too.
Are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. And the way you look at it is every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives.
And saying he's escalating his push against Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, who the U.S. says leads an illegitimate narco-terrorist regime. In a rare move, the president publicly confirming he authorized the CIA to operate there.
Okay, so Trump just got caught in a massive lie and his story is completely falling apart in real time. Trump went on camera and said that the CIA operations in Venezuela are about drugs and migrants. He said Maduro emptied the prisons and sent all the criminals to America. He said this is a drug war. He said this is about protecting our borders, and his supporters bought it. But here's the problem. It's all false. It's all a lie. And now intelligence experts are coming out and saying, no, that's not what happened. No, Maduro didn't empty the prisons. No, there's no evidence for that claim. And Trump authorized this whole operation for one reason: oil. Trump wants Venezuelan oil. Trump wants to control Venezuela's resources. And everything he's saying about drugs and migrants is just a cover story. It's a lie to hide the real truth about what he's doing in Venezuela. This is regime change for oil, and Trump got caught. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics, to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us. Be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video. So here's what Trump said on camera. Trump came out publicly and said, they emptied their prisons into the United States. That's what Trump said. And the other are drugs. That's his justification. That's why he authorized CIA operations. That's why he's sinking boats. That's why he's conducting regime change, because Maduro emptied the prisons. But the problem is, it's not true. The United States intelligence community, Trump's own intelligence agencies, they looked at this claim, and they found no evidence that Maduro emptied the prisons. No evidence. The claim is false. It's made up. Trump invented it. And we have multiple sources confirming this. The State Department intelligence analysts looked at this. The Defense Intelligence Agency looked at this. The CIA looked at this. And none of them found any evidence. So Trump made this up. Trump invented a false claim to justify military operations. That's a huge problem. And this is the crazy part that matters. Trump confirmed that he authorized the CIA operations. Trump literally went on camera and said, yes, I did this. I authorized this. But then he gave a justification that's completely false. He said it's about drugs and migrants. But intelligence experts are saying, no, that's not what this is about. This is about regime change. This is about oil. This is about controlling Venezuela. And Trump's own agencies are contradicting him. Trump's own intelligence community is saying that's not true. Trump's own government is saying Trump is lying. That's embarrassing. That's dangerous. That undermines the credibility of the entire government. When the president lies and his own agencies contradict him, people don't know who to trust. And that's what Trump created here. And Venezuela went to the United Nations. Venezuela said Trump is conducting regime change. Trump is trying to overthrow our government. Trump is violating international law.
Breaking news, President Trump hinting at a major expansion of American military action in Venezuela, saying one day after 6 people were killed in another strike of a ship near Venezuela's coast that he is now open to land strikes as well.
So much of the drugs, 25–30%, would come in through the seas. We've almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land.
Are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control.
And Venezuela's right. This is regime change. This is illegal under international law, and Trump can't justify it. So Trump made up a story about prisons and criminals. Trump made up a story about drugs, and now that story is falling apart because it's false. Intelligence experts are debunking it. The evidence doesn't support it, and Trump looks guilty because he is guilty. He's lying to cover up illegal regime change operations. And his base is probably split again on this issue. Some of his supporters are probably thinking, okay, if it's about drugs and protecting our border, that makes sense. I get that. But his supporters who understand what's really happening, they're probably thinking, come on, this is regime change. This is imperialism. This is what we said we didn't want. And Trump is lying to justify it. Trump is inventing false stories. Trump is making stuff up. And that's a problem for his coalition. That's a problem for his support. When Trump's own base realizes he's lying, that's when support collapses. That's when approval ratings tank. That's when things get serious politically. And here's what makes this so crazy and problematic. Trump's own agencies are contradicting him publicly. Trump's own intelligence community is saying his claims are false. So Trump is not just lying to the American people. Trump is contradicting his own government. Trump is saying his own intelligence agencies are wrong. Trump is saying his own State Department is lying. And that's a huge problem. That undermines the credibility of the entire government. When a president contradicts his own intelligence agencies, people lose confidence in everything. People don't know what's true anymore. And that's what Trump created with his false claims about Venezuela. And the international community is watching this unfold. Venezuela is at the United Nations right now. Venezuela is saying Trump is committing regime change. Trump is violating international law, and other countries are backing Venezuela. Russia is backing Venezuela. China is backing Venezuela. And they're all saying America is lying. America is making up stories to justify regime change. And they're right. And America looks bad. America looks like a rogue nation that lies to justify military operations. And that damages America's credibility globally. That hurts America's standing in the world. That weakens America's alliances. And that's what Trump created by lying about Venezuela. And Trump is dodging questions about the real stuff happening. Someone asked Trump, "Are you authorizing assassinations? Are you ordering kills?" Trump didn't answer. Trump dodged the question, because the answer is probably yes. The CIA operations probably include lethal operations. The presidential finding allows for lethal operations. But Trump won't admit it. Trump will just say, "We're fighting drugs." Trump will just deflect. Trump will just make up false claims. And that's how Trump operates. That's how he covers up what he's really doing. He makes up stories that sound reasonable on the surface but fall apart when you dig into the details. So let's actually break down why Trump's justifications are falling apart so spectacularly and publicly, because there's a lot going on and most people don't understand the full story of what's happening. Trump made a claim that sounds reasonable on the surface if you don't think about it too much. He said Maduro emptied the prisons and sent criminals to America. He said we need to stop the drugs. He said we need to protect the border. And if that were true, it would justify CIA operations. It would justify military strikes. It would justify everything Trump is doing. But it's not true. And when you dig into the evidence, when you look at what the intelligence community actually says, the whole story falls apart. The justification crumbles. The cover story doesn't hold up. And Trump gets caught lying about the real reasons for his military operations. First, let's talk about the prison claim specifically and what the evidence shows. Trump said that Maduro emptied Venezuela's prisons. Trump said Maduro released all the criminals into the world to destabilize other countries. That's a serious claim. That's a serious allegation. If it's true, it justifies action. It justifies military operations. It justifies CIA involvement. But the United States intelligence community, the CIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, the State Department intelligence analysts, they all looked at this claim very carefully, and they found no evidence. No credible evidence that Maduro emptied the prisons. No intelligence showing that Venezuelan prisons were emptied. No data suggesting a wave of Venezuelan prisoners entering America. It's just not supported by evidence. And this is important because Trump is the president. Trump has access to all the intelligence. Trump has the most advanced intelligence agencies in the world. If anyone would know whether Maduro emptied the prisons, it would be Trump's intelligence community. And they're saying, no, that didn't happen. So where did Trump get this idea? Trump made it up. Trump invented this claim to justify regime change operations. Now let's talk about what Trump actually authorized when he signed that presidential finding. Trump signed a presidential finding that allows the CIA to conduct lethal operations in Venezuela. Lethal operations. That means killing people. That means assassination operations. That means the CIA can target individuals and eliminate them. And Trump authorized that. Trump said, go ahead, conduct lethal CIA operations in Venezuela. And Trump did this secretly. Trump did this without congressional approval. Trump did this and then lied about it. A presidential finding is not a small authorization. It's a broad authorization. It allows the CIA to conduct covert operations. It allows for intelligence gathering. It allows for supporting opposition groups. It allows for propaganda and disinformation. It allows for infiltration and sabotage. It's a full authorization for covert regime change operations. And Trump authorized all of that. And then Trump said, it's just about drugs. Trump is lying about the scope of his authorization. Now let's talk about the evidence for Trump's claims about migrants and prisons and what we actually know. So Trump said Maduro emptied the prisons into America. But where's the evidence? Where are the statistics showing a surge in Venezuelan prisoners entering America? Where are the intelligence reports? Where's the data? It doesn't exist because it didn't happen. Trump invented it. Trump made up a story that sounds plausible but isn't true. And this is important because when a president makes up claims about national security, people take it seriously. People believe it. People trust the president to have intelligence that the public doesn't have. So when Trump says Maduro emptied the prisons, people think, okay, the president must have intelligence showing that. But he doesn't. He made it up. He invented it. And his own intelligence agencies are saying, no, that didn't happen. And here's the thing that's important and damaging to Trump's credibility. Trump's own agencies are contradicting him publicly. The State Department Intelligence Bureau analyzed the claim. They found no evidence. The CIA looked at it. No evidence. The Defense Intelligence Agency reviewed it. No evidence. So Trump is saying something that his own intelligence agencies say is false. Trump is contradicting the intelligence community. And that's a huge problem for credibility. That's a problem for government credibility. That's a problem for national security. When a president lies about intelligence and his own agencies contradict him, people lose confidence in everything. And that's what Trump created here with his false claims about Venezuela and Maduro emptying prisons. And the drug claim is also questionable and doesn't hold up to scrutiny. Trump said CIA operations are needed to stop drugs coming from Venezuela, but Venezuela isn't a major source of drugs for America. The major sources are Colombia, Mexico, and other countries. Venezuela contributes some drugs, but it's not a primary source. So Trump's drug war justification doesn't make sense. Trump is making up reasons that don't hold up to scrutiny. Trump is creating false narratives to justify operations that have nothing to do with drugs. And experts are pointing this out. Intelligence analysts are pointing this out. And Trump is getting caught in his lies. Now let's talk about what the real goal actually is based on the leaked documents and what experts are saying. The real goal is regime change. The real goal is to overthrow Maduro. The real goal is to control Venezuela's oil. That's what the leaked documents say. That's what the presidential finding shows. That's what experts are saying. The operations are designed to destabilize Venezuela, create chaos, topple Maduro, and install a new government friendly to America that will give American oil companies access to Venezuelan oil reserves. This isn't about drugs. This isn't about migrants. This is about oil and power. And Trump knows it. And that's why Trump is lying. Because regime change is illegal under international law. The UN Charter prohibits regime change, and Trump is conducting regime change and lying about it. Trump is saying it's about drugs and migrants, but it's really about oil and power, and that's why his justifications are falling apart. Because the justifications are false. Now let's talk about the boat strikes and what Trump is claiming about them. Trump authorized military strikes on boats. Multiple boat strikes killed dozens of people, and Trump was defending these strikes. Trump was saying, they're drug dealers, it's justified, but there's no evidence these boats were drug boats. There's no evidence the people on them were criminals. The intelligence isn't there. The proof isn't there. Trump is just saying, we hit them so they must have been drug dealers. But that's not how evidence works. That's not how justice works. You don't get to kill people and then claim they were criminals. You need evidence first. You need proof. You need intelligence. And Trump doesn't have it. Trump is just making claims. And the intelligence community isn't supporting Trump's narrative on this either. Experts are saying there's no credible evidence these were drug operations. These were Venezuelan boats. Trump attacked them because he's trying to destabilize Venezuela. Trump attacked them as part of a regime change campaign. And Trump is lying about what they were and why he attacked them. Now let's talk about why Trump is lying about all of this when the truth is obvious. Trump is lying because the truth is indefensible. The truth is that Trump is conducting illegal regime change operations to seize oil resources. The truth is that Trump violated international law. The truth is that Trump is lying to Congress. The truth is that Trump doesn't have a good justification for what he's doing. So Trump made up a justification. Trump invented stories about prisons and drugs. And now those stories are falling apart because they're false. And here's what's important. Trump knows his justifications are false. Trump knows his intelligence agencies don't support his claims. But Trump is pushing ahead anyway. Trump is continuing the operations. Trump is sinking boats. Trump is authorizing CIA operations. Trump is doing all of this based on false justifications. And that's dangerous. That's reckless. That's what autocrats do. Okay, so let's break this down into the key things you need to understand about Trump's crumbling excuses for the Venezuela operations. This is important because it shows Trump is willing to lie to justify regime change and military operations. This is a fundamental issue about how Trump operates as president and how he uses false claims to justify illegal actions. Let's look at the core points that matter. Number 1, Trump made up the prison story out of thin air. Trump claimed that Maduro emptied the prisons into America. This claim is false. Trump's own intelligence agencies found no evidence for it. The CIA looked for evidence. The Defense Intelligence Agency looked for evidence. The State Department looked for evidence. And none of them found anything. Trump invented this claim to justify CIA operations. Trump is lying to the American people. Trump is using false claims to justify regime change operations. And that's a problem. That's a serious problem. When a president makes up claims about national security to justify military operations, that undermines the rule of law. That undermines democracy. That's what autocrats do. And that's what Trump is doing here with his false prison claim. Number 2. Trump's intelligence agencies are contradicting him publicly. Trump's own agencies say his claims are false. The State Department says there's no evidence for the prison claim. The CIA says there's no evidence. The Defense Intelligence Agency says there's no evidence. So Trump is contradicting his own intelligence community. Trump is saying his own agencies are wrong, and that undermines government credibility. That's a huge red flag. That's a warning sign. When a president contradicts his own intelligence agencies, something is seriously wrong. Something is deeply broken. And Trump did this deliberately. Trump knew his intelligence agencies said there was no evidence, but Trump made the claim anyway. Trump lied anyway. Number 3. The real goal is oil and regime change, not drugs or migrants. Trump is conducting regime change operations to seize Venezuela's oil resources. The presidential findings shows this. The leaked documents show this. Experts are saying this. Trump is lying about the real goal. Trump is hiding the real objective behind false claims about drugs and migrants, and that's illegal under international law. The UN Charter prohibits regime change, and Trump is conducting regime change and lying about it. Trump is conducting illegal military operations and making up false justifications. That's dangerous. That's reckless. That's a threat to international law and global stability. Number 4, Trump's boat strike justifications are also false and falling apart. Trump said the boats he attacked were drug boats, but there's no evidence for that claim. Trump attacked them as part of regime change operations. Trump is lying about what they were. Trump is lying about why he attacked them, and dozens of people died based on false justifications. People died because Trump wanted to destabilize Venezuela and seize their oil. Trump killed people based on false claims, and Trump is lying about it. Trump is covering it up, and that's a war crime. That's illegal under international law. So what happens next with this situation? Congress is going to investigate this. Congress is going to demand answers, and Trump is going to have to defend his false claims, and he can't, because the claims are false. His own intelligence agencies say they're false, and Congress is going to know it. Congress is going to see through Trump's lies, and there's going to be serious consequences. And the international community is already reacting to Trump's lies. Venezuela is at the United Nations. Venezuela is accusing Trump of regime change. Venezuela is saying Trump is violating international law, and other countries are backing Venezuela. Russia is backing Venezuela. China is backing Venezuela. And they're right. Trump is conducting illegal regime change operations. Trump is violating international law, and Trump is getting caught lying about it. And this is going to affect Trump's credibility significantly. If Trump is lying about Venezuela, what else is Trump lying about? If Trump's claims are false, can we trust anything Trump says? And that's a problem for Trump politically. That's a problem for his approval ratings. That's a problem for his credibility as a leader. People don't trust liars. People don't support presidents who make up false claims about national security. And Trump just did that. And Trump's base is probably split on this issue. Some supporters probably think, okay, regime change in Venezuela, that's fine. We want to control Venezuela's oil. But supporters who care about honesty, supporters who care about Trump following through on his promises, they're probably upset. They're probably thinking, Trump said no more wars, no more regime change, no more American imperialism, and now Trump is doing exactly that. And Trump is lying about it. That's a betrayal. That's a broken promise. That's a reason to lose support for Trump. So basically, Trump made up false claims to justify CIA operations in Venezuela. Trump's own intelligence agencies contradict his claims. The real goal is regime change and oil, not drugs. And Trump is getting caught in his lies. And his excuses are falling apart under scrutiny from experts and the intelligence community. This is going to be a huge issue going forward. Congress is going to investigate. The media is going to cover it extensively. Intelligence experts are going to keep debunking Trump's false claims. And Trump's credibility is going to continue to erode. And his support is probably going to decline as more people realize he's lying about Venezuela and his real motivations. So pay attention to this because it matters. When a president lies to justify military operations, that's serious. When a president lies to Congress, that's serious. When a president lies to the American people, that's serious. And Trump is doing all of it. And his excuses are falling apart under scrutiny. And that's bad for America. That's bad for our credibility internationally. That's bad for our standing in the world. And that's the real story here.